precisely the case I made. Like, look, Eunice, there's a lot going on with us now.
Yeah.
As women of all ages,
Mm.
and the skills and the experience and expertise that someone like Gloria has, we need to start building that into the work that we do, or the way that we think as a movement. And in fairness, over the years, people like Hope Chigudu have been doing a lot of work on a range of things, managing our bodies and psyches, healing, and all that, how that's built into the movement.
Yeah.
And when I was at the African Women's Development Fund, I made sure that we institutionalize self-care.
Lovely.
I don't know if we had conversations around that. And because a lot of staff were getting tired from frequent travels and so on. And the movement was starting to talk about what it means to do self-care, what it means to, appreciate the fact that burnout is a real thing and it affects organizations. So I thought to myself, okay, here we are, funding women's organizations across the continent, saying we want to help build capacity. What capacity do we have in this area? So we set aside funding for staff in the office to be able to do certain things. So first of all, everyone who wanted to join a gym, there was a certain amount set aside for people to actually no, I think the way it operated was there was a self-care budget for everyone, regardless. I think it could be $200 a year or $500 a year, something along those lines. Then you could choose to do what you wanted with your self-care as long as we signed off on it. So for example, my self-care budget went for my gym payments because I said that's what I want. Yes. And then we pulled our resources together out of our self-care budget, and we had 2 guys to come into the office to do aerobics, Reiki.
Oh, nice.
Yes. And that went on for years till I left.
Okay.
And till now they still manage to build a bit of that into the work that they do, but it's extremely important. It has to be intentional, and people need to be able to do it understanding that it's something they take ownership on, not something we are forcing our colleagues or our employees to do. It's absolutely important because, as I said, the consequences are not good, and we've seen what happens when people implode.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay, so what has stayed alive for you from Beijing? What has stayed alive in your spirit, in your work, and do you feel has the world changed since Beijing? In your, what do you see as changes that have taken place, good and bad? So yeah.
Yes. Well, a lot of things have changed, some for the better, some not so great.
Yeah.
A lot of gains have been made. For example, with African women, remember when we went to Beijing, the education of the girl child was really high on our agenda. And now today, we have seen really high returns on that. A lot of our, daughters are very well educated. We have women accomplished in every field you can imagine. But unfortunately, due to insecurity, conflicts, poverty, millions of girls still live in poverty. Millions of girls are still out of school. In Nigeria alone, we have over 16 million children who are out of school, and 60% of that figure is girls. And across the West African region, particularly the Sahel, due to the insecurity in those areas over the past couple of years, there are millions of children who are affected. And of course, we're talking about girls.
Yeah, still a lot of work.
So education has seen a lot of advancements. We've got a lot of legal and policy frameworks in place. Although implementation continues to be a challenge.
Yeah.
And we have seen more of an understanding of how important it is to mainstream gender, and we have machineries for gender, in all our countries that are supposed to, champion women's equality, women's empowerment, and so on. But the negative side of things is that these issues are still not taken seriously. There are still unprecedented levels of sexual and gender-based violence, but they continue to intensify. And we continue to see massive unemployment amongst our youth. And we know what that means when we have, large numbers of youth who are unemployed, when we have people who are displaced, where there's poverty, it's a toxic combination, and does not bode well for what the future of the continent is going to look like over the next couple of years. So we have our work cut out for us. And a good place to start is making sure that we are well. We have to be okay. We have to be whole, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, as I was saying earlier. And we need to find ways of weaving that into the work that we do, into our advocacy, storytelling.
Yes, absolutely.
And I keep encouraging people around me, young men and women, sit with your grandparents, your grandmothers, sit with your aunties, sit with your mothers. Encourage them to tell you their stories. You'll be surprised as to what you learn.
Yeah, I say that all the time. Yes, absolutely.
Because we were talking here earlier about, ancestral, learning and healing and so on. Let me share two brief stories with you around that. I grew up, I knew my maternal great grandmother. That is my grandfather's mother. I knew her. I still remember what she looks like. She passed around in 1972. Now, where my mom comes from, Ilaramokin, in Ondo State, there's a tradition that they used to have. They still have it, but because times have changed, things have now been, consolidated. But back then, when elderly people passed away, they didn't do all the funeral rites all at once. They did the interment when they died, maybe within, a week or two, 3 marks, they did the interment. That was the first stage. And then 3 years later, they would do something to commemorate them. And then they would do the last stage 7 years later, and I think it's called the J or so. So at the 7-year mark, there was a ceremony that they would do to wrap up all the funeral rites. And that's when the community will say this person has been buried. Now, if someone in the family, a younger person, like a child of that person, passes before the 7-year mark, they will insist that those rites have to be completed before they bury the new person. So if you die at 100 and it's the 7-year mark and they haven't done the 7 years, if your 80-year-old daughter or son passes away, your family will have to conclude the rites on you before they attend to the next person who has just passed. Okay, so my great-grandmother passed. Then my maternal grandmother, when she started feeling that her time might be up, that time, but that she was in her 80s. So she sent a message to me, and she had never asked me for anything at that point. She asked me for 2 things in her lifetime, explicitly. And this is the first thing she asked. I'll tell you what the second thing was. So she said, so she sent a message that she wants me to help her conclude the funeral rites of her mother. Because, as I said, she was feeling that her time was up. Or might be coming to, she might be coming to an end. So, and she wanted all that out of the way so that it doesn't interfere with her own rights. So when my aunties told me, I thought, what the hell? What's my business with someone who has passed away? Haven't you buried the woman? So what? So one of my aunties then said, do you know that mama who passed, your great-grandmother, that's exactly you. You are like that woman.